The number one question I get from people who are interested in the ranch method but haven't started yet is some version of this. Do I need a lot of money to get into real estate? The honest answer is not what most people expect. And today, I want to give you that honest answer in full. Because the version you probably already told yourself is probably wrong in at least one important way. Let's be real about what real estate actually requires. A conventional purchase does require capital, down payment, closing cost, and reserves. On a $200,000 property with a conventional loan, you are probably looking at roughly $40,000 to $50,000 out of pocket before you own anything. That is a real number, and I'm not going to pretend it isn't. But here is what most people miss when they hear that number and walk away. That capital does not have to be yours. Sherry and I built a residential assisted living business using other people's money. We had a capital partner come in with some of the funding. We came in with the system, the leadership, the execution, and some money. The deal got done. We both benefited. That is not a trick. That is a principle. And it is one of the oldest principles in real estate. You do not need to have all the money. You need to bring value to the people who do. Because that's the most important thing, is what can you do for them, or you'll give them a return on their money. My mentor does this with millions and millions of dollars. He buys these big apartment complexes with other people's money. He puts money into it still on every single deal, but majority of it still comes from other people's monies. In the ranch method, there are 3 realistic paths into real estate for the person who is starting from where you are right now. Path 1, save and deploy. This is the most straightforward. You build residual income. You protect every dollar of it from lifestyle inflation, and you accumulate a down payment fund over time. This is slower. It is also the most reliable. 12 to 24 months of disciplined deployment can produce a real down payment without touching your primary income. Path 2, OPM, other people's money. Private lenders, capital partners, joint ventures. These arrangements exist because capital without a system produces nothing. If you have the system, the leadership, and the deal, there are people with capital who need exactly what you have. The ranch method teaches you how to be the person with the system. Path 3, network source deals. Sherry's duplex story is the clearest example of this. The deal came through the network. Seller financing. No realtor. Terms negotiated directly because the relationship existed. Not every deal works this way, but the people in your network know people who own things. Some of these things can become yours if the relationship and the conversations are handled right at the beginning. Here is why the R.A.N.C.H method puts residual income first and real estate second. It is not because real estate is harder. It is because going into real estate without a secondary income stream means you are buying assets with money that was already spoken for. Your paycheck is already your family's living expenses. Using it for real estate means choosing between the asset and the bill. Residual income creates a third category: money that is not already committed. Money that can go toward an asset without taking anything away from your family's stability. That sequence: build the residual income first, deploy it into real estate second, is what makes the R.A.N.C.H method sustainable for people who is not starting with a large savings cushion. Income is a river. Assets are the reservoir. You cannot fill the reservoir until the river is running. Let me give you a realistic picture of what this looks like on a real timeline. Month 1 through 6, you are building the residual income stream. 2 to 3 hours a day, consistently, using the simple system. The income starts small. That is normal. The goal is in this phase is consistency and the team development, not a large check. Months 6 through 12, the residual income is growing and stabilizing. You are protecting every dollar of it. A down payment fund is starting to accumulate. You are also building the network relationships that will eventually produce deal flow. Months 12 through 24, depending on your market and your target property type, you're approaching or at a realistic entry point for your first acquisition. Whether that is through savings, other people's money, or a network source deal on what your specific situation has produced. That is not overnight. It is also not a lifetime. It is a real timeline that people, starting from where you are right now, with 2 to 3 hours a day, and a willingness to follow the system, can actually walk. So, do you need a lot of money to start in real estate? Not at first. You need a system that builds the money, the network, and the knowledge at the same time. And you need a sequence that gets you there without betting on your family stability on a single move. That is exactly what the free training in the description walks through. The full R.A.N.C.H method sequence, applied to a real starting point. No pitch, no guarantees, just the honest path. Vision without a timeline is a dream. Vision with a timeline is a plan. A plan with a system is a destiny. Faith, freedom, financial independence. Now go build the rest.